Well, good morning and welcome. A brand new week of the Art Lewis Show here on WSGW. Monday, and this is, let me see, it's the 16th of May already, halfway through the month of May. Oh, don't blink, friends. It'll be September before you know it. Yep, indeed. I do this every year. Beginning of May, I go, hallelujah, warm weather's coming, get out and do outdoor activities and all that stuff. Baseball season's here, yay. And then I blink, and the World Series are being played. So I don't even think about it anymore. I just live every day and be happy that I do. Here's what's happening this morning after this first hour, which will be open phones. We're going to talk to Mike Murray from the Planetarium, the Delta Planetarium in Bay City, about a film coming up looking at life in outer space, finding life in outer space. We're also going to talk to him about the Webb telescope, the black hole that was found, all that good stuff. That'll be coming up during the 10 o'clock hour. And at 11 o'clock on Focus today, we're going to focus on the Thelen Auto Group and the Jeep Freedom Ride. And Lynn Roberts from Thelen will be with us to do that. But as I mentioned, for this hour, it's open phones at 989-752-6111. It was, by anyone's standards in the United States, a violent weekend. The shooting in Buffalo that killed 10. Church shooting in California. There were several shootings, I think, in Milwaukee. One in the Carolinas. And you know what happens whenever these things take place, which are far too frequent. But the first thing that's brought up is gun control. How do we change it? What do we do? Well, let's talk about that a little bit. First of all, we have to accept the fact guns don't kill, people do. That's first and foremost. The second is the background system check effective? In talking to a number of FFL holders, that's federal firearms license holders, sellers of guns have to have federal licenses. And there are different classes of license that allow sale of certain types of firearms. They will tell you the background checks are not all that effective. And I will specifically give you an example in Michigan. In Michigan, and I imagine as elsewhere in the country, if you have a CPL, a concealed pistol license, that is, you have the legal ability to carry concealed, and you wish to buy another gun, another pistol, let's say, you go into your firearms dealer and you select the gun. At one time, you could present your CPL, and that would eliminate the need to fill out all the paperwork for the background check. You would simply purchase the gun because you had the CPL. A while back, the ATF found that what they considered Michigan to be lax in the way the CPLs were issued. And so they would no longer accept your CPL as your background check. Now understand, if you have a CPL, you had to go through an extensive background check. Fill out all the forms. It gets submitted. The state police do an investigation. You have to submit your fingerprints and all of that stuff. You know, and maybe a couple of weeks to 45 days later, you get a CPL in the mail if you are not disqualified. And that was accepted for purchasing a gun. But the ATF felt that Michigan was lax on the way it handed out the permits. So they no longer accept your CPL as proof of qualification. If you go into a firearms dealer now, even if you have a CPL, you are going to fill out the paperwork again and answer all the questions again. Well, all of that is well and good, but does it do the job? And this is where the firearms dealer will tell you no, because even though on the form it asks you if you've ever had any mental issues been committed, all that stuff. So you say no. What happens now? Because, in part, your mental health is protected under HIPAA. So, unlike a criminal record that they can look up and there it is, your mental health, unless you've been committed by a judge, for example, where it's gone through some legal process, is protected. They can't find out. They have no idea. So the question is, how do you fill that hole? How do you fill that void in issuing permits to buy? Then the next question is, do all these laws that are being passed do anything? Well, this 18-year-old who just killed 10 people up in Buffalo in a racist attack proves the answer is no. New York is a red flag state. What that means is that the police, a judge, mental health professional can red flag an individual for mental health reasons, which would then prohibit that individual from buying a gun. And if you look at some of the recent shootings, the guns have been purchased legally. Apparently, this young man did the same thing. So, what are the red flag laws all about if they don't get used? In this case, I mean, this young man had a history of, let's say, unusual behavior. He was even hospitalized for a day and a half. He threatened students at the school he went to. He wore a hazmat suit to school one day to, I don't know what, protest or whatever. It was during the COVID panic. Instead of just wearing a mask, he had to make a point. He put on a full hazmat suit. He had a couple of run-ins with the law, but was never flagged. Now, of course, hindsight is 20/20. Let's never forget that. It's easy to sit here now, look back and say, well, what if, why didn't they, and all of that. Hindsight is always 20/20. But from what I read about it, the signs were there. Somebody missed them. Same thing with the Oxford killings here in Michigan. All the signs were there. As a matter of fact, they had the young man in the office. His parents were there. Nobody did anything. Nobody looked in his gun pack. Parents wouldn't go home with him. How many times does an individual have to demonstrate potential before something's done? It's not an easy topic, but it needs to be discussed. And I certainly am not smart enough to have the answers. I think there are enough laws on the books right now. And what good are they? Chicago, for example, has probably the strictest gun laws in the country, and probably more crime than any other city using a gun in the country. Because you can put all the laws on the books you want, and the bottom line is the bad guys will always get the guns, and the good guys will be unprotected if you take away the guns. So where do you go from there? All right, we have a whole bunch of callers waiting to chat with us, so I'm going to take a quick break, come back, and then we will get to the callers here on the Art Lewis Show.
Hello, I'm Shep.
And I'm Mark.
And we're the friendly, board-certified entomologists from Rose Pest Solutions.
When it comes to pest management, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure.
Seems like people only think of us once they've spotted a pest.
And by then, it could very well be expensive to treat.
That's where our free home assessments come in. We'll look for signs of pests and identify conditions that are conducive to unwanted visitors.
Whether it's a mouse in your house or a full
we have just the right solution to make your yard and your home more livable.
800-966-ROSE.
My heart was racing just making spaghetti. I could have waited to tell my doctor, but I didn't wait.
I was short of breath just reading a book. I could have delayed telling my doctor, but I didn't wait.
They told their doctors and found out they have atrial fibrillation, a condition which makes it about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. If you have one or more of these symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness, this is no time to wait. Contact your doctor.
Brought to you by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer. At the United States Postal Service. Fast and affordably, so you can give your customers what they want when they need it. We're delivering for one-stop shops, mom and pops, pop-ups, startups, retail, wholesale, large scale, small biz, big box, customers, customizers. So no matter what business you're in, we'll always be delivering for you. USPS, delivering for America. Learn more at usps.com/delivering.
Chances are you're jamming in your car right now. And since Liberty Mutual customizes car insurance, so you only pay for what you need, Limu and I are going to show you some safe car dance moves. Everybody, check your blind spots real quick. Now hands on the wheel. Put them 10 in 2 and move your head like a bird do. Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
I'm Elizabeth McDonald, and this is the Fox Business Report.
McDonald's is ending its business in Russia, looking for a local buyer following Russia's invasion of Ukraine. The company says the humanitarian crisis and unpredictable operating environment led McDonald's to conclude the continued ownership is no longer tenable, nor is it consistent with McDonald's values. McDonald's has been paying its more than 60,000 workers there. Its restaurants in Russia are closed. JetBlue is offering Spirit Airlines shareholders $30 for each share of the company, hoping to stage a hostile takeover. Spirit rejected JetBlue's offer in favor of a deal from Frontier. GameStop shares are higher after the company named a new chief operating officer, Nir Patel, former CEO of retail company Dell. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Ginny Cosola, invested in you.
America could soon enter stagflation territory with slow economic growth, high unemployment, and high inflation. That is why I recommend gold IRAs from Birch Gold Group. Hi, Stephen K. Bannon here, and I want to remind you to get Birch Gold's free info kit on sheltering your savings with Gold IRA. To get your free copy, text the word SHELTER to 989898. With stagflation looming, it's critical that you act today. Text SHELTER to 989898 right now.
Inflation in Michigan and the Midwest, highest in the nation. Annette Glenn is running for state senate to fight for new jobs, energy independence, to cut fuel costs, cut taxes, and drug costs. Annette Glenn, fighting for us. Paid for by Annette Glenn for state senate.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. Companies might deliver a lot of hay. ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/trial. That's ZipRecruiter.com/trial.
There's a price war in the insurance business, and you may be paying too much. Call the Term Lifeline right now and see if you can save 40%. $500,000 plans and up, that's our specialty. Even great smokers' rates. Protect your family today. Call the Term Lifeline right now for a free quote. 866-549-TERM. 866-549-TERM. 866-549-TERM.
Swings and drives into the gap in right center field, and that ball is going to get up the gap. They're going to wave by us around third, and he will score. And Miguel Cabrera will cruise into second base.
The Tigers play tonight at 6:20. News Radio WSGW.
All right, back with you. Time to go to our phones. Chris is in Freeland. So, Chris, you are up first this morning. Good morning.
Hi. There have been instances that I cannot cite specifically because I'm in my car and I don't have the internet in front of me. But I know there's situations where people have, used guns and committed crimes, and their previous histories were not entered correctly in whatever database that is searched for a gun purchase.
That's possible.
And that's one major failing of quote unquote the system. And I don't know how to fix that. It's whoever is supposed to be in charge of entering data.
I think I think what you're referring to that was fairly well publicized was the military not providing certain information, and a shooting took place that involved a military personnel, and I believe that's what you're referring to. And of course, listen, let's accept the fact that every system is first and foremost a system created by humans, and humans make mistakes.
Yeah. So. And all the anti-gunners, they want to take the guns, and it's not the gun. It's, as you mentioned, the gun is a tool.
Yep.
It'll sit in the closet forever, and do nothing.
Yeah, do nothing. Right. Exactly.
Until some mentally unstable person picks it up and does something terrible with it, then
Yeah. Or it'll sit in a lockbox, which is better, of course, or safe.
Oh, right. Your gun safe, and I didn't be specific, I guess.
All right.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Art.
Hey, Chris, thanks for calling. Take care. Paul is in Saginaw. Paul, good morning.
Morning, Art. Real quick. Chicago had 31 shootings this past weekend with 5 deaths. So all the laws in the world ain't going to stop.
It doesn't do anything in that city, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
Your network this morning, CBS, reported that there were 201 mass shootings just this year alone so far. And I've been predicting for years and years that it's going to get worse until we start teaching some spiritual and moral values to our kids by the parents, the schools, and the churches. And until we do that, it's just going to keep getting worse and worse. And my third issue is this. The National News Desk reported that 64% of right now are living paycheck to paycheck because of inflation and the Democratic administration's policies.
All right. Good enough. That's
Alrighty.
pretty well known anyway. Appreciate it. Thanks. Okay, Paul.
All right.
And let's move on. Talk to Russ, Bay City. Russ, good morning.
Good morning, Art. Well, here we go again. Big red flags, totally ignored, and no consequences for those who ignored the red flags. Now, if I'm a doctor and I make a mistake, I can get sued, and if the mistake's bad enough, I can go to prison. If I'm a lawyer and I don't represent my client well enough, I can be dismissed. But if I'm a government official, if I work for the Department of Justice, or if I work for the FBI and I make a mistake, well, no one's perfect. And there's no consequences whatsoever. And that's got to change. There's got to be consequences for these red flags being missed.
Well, okay, hang on a second. Hang on a second here before we condemn everybody involved in it.
I'm not condemning everybody.
Here's the thing we have to look at. Before I make that, I believe in this case and other cases, red flags have been missed. I do agree with that. However, each individual situation is just that, an individual situation. I would like to see, although I can't, I would like to see what happened and what the result was of the initial examination that sent him to the hospital for a day and a half, and why they felt when he was discharged he was no longer a danger. I don't know the answer to that.
Shoot up a school.
That's after the fact.
I mean, no, that was what got his attention. That's what brought the attention to him.
One of the things, yes.
Yeah.
I still want to know what they found out when they examined him, and that we can't do.
But to try to condemn one is to condemn all, so we can't condemn any. And it's until we are able to hold the individuals responsible, I don't think we're going to see much of a change.
Well, we'll see if that's
hold these judges that let them out on nothing. Oh geez, oh well, here you go, and no bail and early release and plea bargains, and you want to see a great gun law? Ban the plea bargain for gun crimes. You commit a gun crime, you do the time. No more plea bargaining it away. And until we start actually punishing people who break the gun laws, I don't see how we're going to.
I'm not sure that's not there right now, because the gun laws, if you use a gun in the commission of a crime, it adds a certain amount to your sentence.
Yeah,
and I don't think that part's negotiable.
It is. We saw it just last year in Saginaw. There was a man who pulled an armed robbery by the Stop and Shop on Court Street, and that thing got plea bargained all down to simple assault. He was found. He was, all the gun charges were plea bargained away, and he skated practically on probation. So, no, we can't ignore this. This is a huge problem. What good criminals who break them don't get punished for it? What, is it just there to restrict the behavior of law-abiding citizens? Because they'll obey the law. Okay, I don't like the law, but I'll obey it.
Well, they're not going to come in contact with it anyway then. So it doesn't matter.
But I mean, they're not going to, they're just going to be restricted one more way.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah. All right.
You know what I mean?
Good enough. All right, Russ.
This is ridiculous.
Have a good one. Take
You
care.
too.
Bye-bye now. Scott is in Saginaw. Scott, good morning.
Morning, Art. I got a quick question. Maybe somebody can. If we look at this animal that went into Buffalo, into a predominantly black neighborhood with the intent to murder people who didn't want to die. So what is the difference between Planned Parenthood going into that same neighborhood with the intent to murder people who don't want to die? And that's why I look at this. Is we look at life like it's just a joke. People shoot each other over in Chicago, and the mayor says, they cancel each other out. So I don't know. Are we supposed to be upset about this, since the left really doesn't care about life? I'm kind of lost on this.
Yeah, it's an interesting comparison.
Well,
I don't have an
here's
answer.
another one.
I
You
don't
had a
have an
caller
answer.
Last week called. Okay, well, here's another one. You had a caller last week who called and said Margaret Sanger from Planned Parenthood was a racist, and you pushed back on him. If you just take a moment and Google it, the very first thing that should pop up should be Margaret Sanger, Planned Parenthood, and Adolf Hitler. Why? Because Adolf Hitler was enamored with this woman, how she could go into a black neighborhood and legally start executing people. He loved it. He wanted to do it himself. So that's what Planned Parenthood is. They are an executing station to eradicate blacks from this world.
Well,
Art, look it up. This is who the woman is. I'm not making it up. This is facts.
All right.
This is what Planned Parenthood was based on. Well, we can't push truth aside too long, Art. Have a good day.
All righty, buddy. Take care. Bye-bye now. Quick break. We'll come back. Alan Midland, hang on. You'll be up next here on the Art Lewis Show.
This is Jason from Applied Training Solutions in the Midland Mall. We are the Midwest's premier self-defense academy. From our state-of-the-art digital firearm range to open-hand self-defense classes, we are building a safer community one student at a time. We offer concealed pistol license classes that combine both live fire and digital range training. Online at simurange.com and Facebook at ATS Midland. Applied Training Solutions, forward-thinking, on-target training.
Save today on your next project with 11% off everything now at Menards. Max Bond Exterior Paint and Primer in 1 is a no-prep, no-prime paint that delivers superior adhesion to dirty, chalky, and glossy surfaces. Right now, pick up a gallon of flat paint for only $34.98 after 11% rebate. Price is good through May 21st. Savings are mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
If you owe the IRS back taxes, then get ready to pay up. The IRS has giant private collection agencies actively tracking down folks who owe the IRS. So if you think dodging them was stressful in the past, it's going to get a whole lot tougher. Optima Tax Relief has this advice. Don't wait. Solve your tax problems now before it's too late. Optima Tax Relief works to stop the demand letters, stop the aggressive collection actions, and stop the IRS collectors from targeting you. Ask Optima about the Fresh Start Initiative, the biggest breaks the IRS has ever offered. If you qualify, you could save thousands, and nobody knows this program better than they do. Optima is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, and they get results, having resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Get a fresh start. Call today for your free consultation.
Call 800-364-9188. 800-364-9188. 800-364-9188.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Okay, let's start unloading the sod over here.
The grass is always greener when Ruckus Lawn Care does the mowing.
And then we want to get the flower bed started before lunch.
They need a new landscaping designer to keep their budding business growing.
Oh, can we double check the incline here? This one needs to drain this way.
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our hiring platform instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Do you know what people see when they Google you? Search engines don't always get it right. And when they're wrong, it's your reputation on the line. So what do you do when you don't agree with your search results? Call Reputation Defender at 800-401-6681. Reputation Defender is one of the most trusted names in online reputation repair. We have over a decade of experience in fixing people's search results, and we can help you too. Using cutting-edge approaches, Reputation Defender pushes unflattering information down to lower pages of your search results, where few people ever look. We also promote the good stuff so that it rises to the top, letting you put your best foot forward. Your good name is too valuable to leave to the whims of a Google algorithm. You owe it to yourself to take control with Reputation Defender. Visit www.reputationdefender.com or call 800-401-6681 for free advice on your situation. That's 800-401-6681.
Hello, Michigan. I'm John Gonzalez.
And I'm Amy Sherman. We've got big news.
We're back! And you can join us Sundays at 1 p.m. as we once again go behind the midnight.
We'll take you to every corner of the state, sharing the stories that make Michigan great.
Find a hidden gem or a new favorite spot that might be located right in your hometown.
We'll go above the bridge and taste our way across the state.
Join us Sundays at 1 p.m. right here on 100.5 and 790 News Radio, WSGW.
Thank you for being with 100.5 and 790 News Radio WSGW in the premier kitchen and bath gallery showroom and design center studios.
All right, we're back with you on the Art Lewis Show here on WSGW, and back to our phones. Al is in Midland. Al, good morning.
Good morning, sir. Hey, great bunch of callers this morning.
Mm-hmm.
My concern is I've noticed this in some places, and it's recently popped up within the last month or so. Meijer has a decal on their front entry door, the no guns allowed type thing, a gun-free zone.
Right.
And my concern is that the law-abiding folks will obey that symbol, and the one that wants to cause the problems and do the shooting gallery will not obey it.
And you know what's interesting about that? You know what's interesting about that, Al?
What?
It is not a legal requirement, and let me explain that. In Michigan, in the concealed carry laws, it outlines the places where you cannot carry concealed firearms. Storefronts that choose to put a label on their door like that says you cannot carry in here is a property owner's right to say that. But if you are stopped in the store for carrying, you will not be arrested. You'll be asked to leave because it is not a legal requirement. Now, if you refuse to leave, you could be charged with trespass, but it is not against the law to carry that concealed weapon in a store simply because the owner says you shouldn't. But you do run the potential of a trespass charge if you fail to obey it. To me, and I understand what you were saying, bad guys aren't going to follow it no matter what it is.
Right.
They don't follow the laws on the books. Why would they follow a decal on a door?
Right. That's exactly it. They're putting everybody at risk by putting that decal on the door. That walks in there and everybody that shops in there is in danger. Some nut or somebody that wants to prove a point or make a statement and do the bad things, they're going to do it.
Yeah, well, the laws aren't going to stop them. Neither is a decal.
Nothing. That decal means nothing to them.
Yeah, well, neither do the laws, though, so it really doesn't make any difference.
Well, I sent a email or a thing off to your friend Tom Meisberg, I think that's his name, critical incident.
Yep.
And I basically stated that these store operators are putting all of their customers at risk and making it more dangerous for them. I look at the way it is in Texas. If you go in to do something bad in Texas, you don't know how many guns are in there that are law-abiding, that they're able to defend and protect the establishment.
Yep, that's true in lots of states. There are several different categories of carry laws. There are states that are called constitutional carry, and that means you don't need a permit to carry concealed. They assume the Constitution gives you the right to do that. Then there are states like Michigan that have concealed pistol licenses that are considered shall issue states. That means they must issue if you meet the qualifications. And then there are those states where they may issue, but it's not quite as easy as it is, say, in Michigan. And then there are those states that don't allow concealed carry. You've got to be somebody really special to get a concealed carry license. They're all different. They're all a little bit different in different ways. There's a lot of reciprocity, though. If you have a CPL, for example, in Michigan, you can travel in probably, I don't know, it's 40 some odd states that have reciprocity with Michigan where you can carry concealed in their states with your CPL license.
That bothers me a lot, though, that there's so many different. This is a federal type thing. It's a constitutional thing, and the states really should have very little say over that, other than, like you point out, the mentally deranged and things like that. The people that are unfit to have them should not be able to have access to them.
Yeah, but it's not a federal license you're getting. And besides, understand this. Not getting a concealed pistol license doesn't mean you can't buy a gun.
Right.
You still have to, if you buy a handgun, a pistol, a revolver, you have to file the federal paperwork with the dealer, and then it comes back and you buy your gun.
Right.
So they're not stopping you from buying a gun. They're only deciding how you can carry the weapon within their province or their state, if you will.
Well, my concern is that these store owners that do this, they are putting everybody in danger.
All right, I understand.
Foolish. It is foolish to think that sticker does anything.
Good enough.
So, thank you, Arthur.
You
Have
betcha.
a nice morning, sir.
You too. Mark, hang on. We'll get to you when we return right after these notes on the Art Lewis Show.
When it comes to cereal disease protection, Prosaro Pro 400 SC fungicide from Bayer makes all the difference. With 3 effective active ingredients for overlapping control of foliar and head diseases and a flexible application window for head scab, it's formulated to lower DON, protect yield potential, and promote superior grain quality. Prosaro Pro, the future of plant health starts here. Visit prosaropro.com to learn more. All other stewardship practices and pesticide label directions.
What's the most important part of a retirement plan?
Income is king because we all need income. And if you don't have an income plan, you don't have a retirement plan.
That's Kevin Ray, financial coach at Insight Folios. Kevin tells his listeners every week about the importance of income planning, minimizing taxes, and strategies to lead a worry-free retirement. Learn all about that and get your own complimentary financial review by calling 888-885-PLAN. That's 888-885-7526.
Why do I love to work at Alpha Media Saginaw?
Awesome station, fun work environment,
My work family, endless opportunity. Work.
Hi, I'm Carrie Gustafson, General Sales Manager at Alpha Media Saginaw.
We are expanding our marketing department and looking for the right team player to continue to help local businesses grow through on-air and digital campaigns. We have an amazing staff and 5 awesome local radio stations. So if you want to get up every day loving what you do,
apply now at alphamediausa.com/careers. Alpha Media is an EEO employer.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. Wounded Warrior Project was created to help our men and women with the scars of war, whether those scars are physical or mental. Your project, we never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
On the next monthly Van Camp and Robbins show, Biden's new excuse for failure, he can't read minds, nor teleprompters for that matter.
Monthly Van Camp and Robbins, weekdays at noon on 100.5 and 790 News Radio WSGW.
All right, we're back with you here on WSGW, and let's go to Mount Pleasant where we find Mark this morning. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning, Art. How are you, sir?
We're doing well.
Hey, I wanted to get your opinion on the formula situation. Warp speed was developed to try to get a vaccine to mitigate the coronavirus. And then back in October, it was mentioned that a formula shortage was out there. In February, another story was out there about formula shortage. On Friday, Pasaki, her last day, said they just learned weeks ago of a formula shortage, and they're doing everything they can, every lever, every lever, every tool in the toolbox, whatever cliche they want to use was thrown out there. And it's all because of one factory in Michigan. My seek to understand question is, if there's one down and 3 other up and running, how come they just don't up the production of the other 3 plants?
I don't know that they can make up the difference. However, I have another solution. My solution would be to put FDA inspectors in that Abbott plant in Sturgis, Michigan, get that baby rolling again. And let's get on with it. It's ridiculous that it's been closed this long. Now, there's some controversy as to whether or not they fulfilled their obligations of sterilizing the plant and making it healthy and all that stuff. I say put the FDA in there and let them inspect and let them oversee the operation and get it going again. They say it'll take 2 weeks to bring it up to full production, 6 weeks to get it on the shelves. Well, guess what? Time's ticking.
Well, I agree, especially if it's been an issue since last October. I'm befuddled on that. I mean, It's not like we're trying to get the formula and invent the thing. We have the formula. We just don't have the formula on the shelf.
Well, the formula we have was sent down to the border, obviously, because it's more important, I guess, for those folks coming in illegally than it is for the people who live in this country and pay the taxes.
Yeah. Well, there's nothing you and I can do on that.
Well, there is election day, but that's it.
I agree.
I shake my head at times, Mark. I really do. You have to wonder where their heads are sometimes. I think
agree.
their heads, the problem is their heads are in the voting polls rather than in the needs and hearts and minds of the American people. It has gotten to be ridiculous. I mean, and it's not just this issue. It's a lot of issues. It seems like the party comes first rather than the people.
Well, yeah, it's just get back to the basics and just run things normal instead of chasing chasing crisis and try to get political points.
Or creating them.
It doesn't always work that way.
Yeah. All right, Mark. Good enough, buddy.
Have a good one.
You too. Bye-bye now. Daryl is in Bay City. Daryl, good morning to you. Nice to have you with us.
Yeah, good morning, Art. I'm on the road, but I think the reason the sign is not for concealed, it's more for open carry.
Say that again. I'm sorry, I missed that. Say it. No. Start from the beginning because you cut out on me for a minute. Start again. Okay. Say what you said.
All right. The reason for that sign in the Myers stores is more for people walking in with an open carry. Where we have in Michigan, we have these people protest around Lansing where they like to open carry. I think that is more in tune for them, not as much as concealed, because it really doesn't say concealed.
Well, it says no guns, so it doesn't matter whether it's concealed or open. But the reality is, obviously, if you're open carrying, they can see you and ask you to leave. If you're concealed, right. they don't have equipment detecting the fact that you're carrying.
And that Art. That's the whole premise for concealed carry.
Yeah, of course,
is to conceal it, not brandish it.
Oh, it's against the law to brandish it.
These kids today that buy guns are just like the kids when you and I were young, where they rolled a pack of cigarettes up in their shirt sleeve and like to broadcast it. The whole premise is to carry that gun concealed.
Yep.
Period.
You don't want it printing your shirt so anybody can see it. You know it's
Exactly. Now, here's something I think we should do. Instead of having critical race theory in school, I think every semester we should have critical law training from little kids getting used to police officers to children to middle-aged or to young adults. Every semester there should be something taught in our schools so that we can realize this.
And some do a better job of that than others. Some have police coming in all the time talking to students.
Now here's another thing. License renewed. And sometimes you have to take a test. There are no test questions on there about how to act with a police officer when you get pulled over. There should be some test questions on when you get your driver's license, because we have a lot of ignorant people that are coming into our country that have nothing to do with the law in the United States.
You know what we should do? We should teach everybody what to do if you get stopped by a police officer if you have a CPL, because that is the most efficient way of dealing with police officers. They see your hands, you're up front with them. It's an excellent way to not get in trouble with a police officer.
Well, people that get CPLs, they get that training. But
that's what I mean.
The people that, but regular people that drive a car, states, be asked a certain number of questions. 5 questions. That's all they have to ask. What do I do? How do I handle myself?
Mm-hmm.
And it's simple. Every time you get a driver's license.
That's why I'm saying the same training you get as a CPL holder would be very effective for every driver. Even though you may not be carrying, you don't have a CPL, but the way you respond and the way you act is the critical point.
Exactly.
So
and
I'd say give it to everybody.
Secretary of State's. Give it to the Secretary of State's. Let them do it right there.
Yeah. Interesting.
That's not hard to do. 5 added questions to those little give outs
when
you go in to get your
when you go renew your license, if you have to take those 20 questions, does that really tell you're qualified to drive? I don't think so.
Well, I don't either, but at least it's an awareness.
Yeah. All right, Daryl. Hey, listen, I appreciate the call, my friend.
All right, take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye now. And let's talk to Walt Hemlock before we take our last break here. Walt, good morning. Got about a minute and a half. Go ahead.
Listen, one thing that turns me off about guns is people who threaten others. You get mad, I'm going to get my gun and shoot you. I knew of a guy in the Navy who was always threatening people with a gun. And one day he threatened a guy with a gun. The guy went outside. Our gunslinger stepped out the door, and he was waiting for him. 10-gauge shotgun, double up.
Yeah, well, that's not the answer, is it?
Huh?
That's not the answer.
I know it's not the answer.
Yeah. All right.
But you go around threatening somebody with a gun. Sooner or later, you're going to get it.
All right. Good enough, Walt. Yeah, I got to run because I'm out of time, buddy. Thanks a lot. Let me talk to you for a minute about Thelen Honda, North Euclid Avenue in Bay City, because new vehicle supplies are low. You can see that just driving around, but they have a number of vehicles on the way. You can reserve run right now. Stop in, find out what's in the pipeline, and reserve your own Thelen Honda vehicle. And remember that Honda ranked first among full-time automakers in the 2021 EPA report at 29.1 miles per gallon, 3.7 miles higher than the industry average for the 2020 model year. So you're going to be saving gas money in this day and age. Plus, the 22 Honda Civic won the prestigious North American Car of the Year award. In addition, the Honda Ridgeline was ranked first among the longest-lasting trucks. So stop into Thelen Honda, find out what they've got in the pipeline, reserve yours today on North Euclid Avenue in Bay City. If you're looking to move up in the pre-owned vehicles, they have hundreds of them on the lots. All those Thelen dealerships side by side, all inspected, ready for you to drive home. Thelen Honda, online, thinkthelen.com. Thalen's been serving your automotive needs for the better part of 45 years. Stop in today.
Before you dig in Michigan or put a shovel in the ground, you gotta call Miss Dig 811. They'll have the pros look around. Before you dig that garden in the sun, keep yourself safe, dial 811. It's a law that keeps you safe and your project sound from all of the dangers that are hidden underground. Keep your digging in Michigan safe and fun. Call Miss Dig 811. Keep digging in Michigan safe and fun. Call Miss Dig 811. Sponsored by Miss Dig 811 and the MAB.
If you owe the IRS back taxes, then get ready to pay up. The IRS has giant private collection agencies actively tracking down folks who owe the IRS. So if you think dodging them was stressful in the past, it's going to get a whole lot tougher. Optima Tax Relief has this advice. Don't wait. Solve your tax problems now before it's too late. Optima Tax Relief works to stop the demand letters, stop the aggressive collection actions, and stop the IRS collectors from targeting you. Ask Optima. One of the biggest breaks the IRS has ever offered. If you qualify, you could save thousands, and nobody knows this program better than they do. Optima is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, and they get results, having resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Get a fresh start. Call today for your free consultation.
Call 800-364-9188. 800-364-9188. 800-364-9188.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/trial.
The Ramsey Show, weeknights at 10 on 100.5 and 790 News Radio WSGW.
All right, that'll do it for the first hour of the Art Lewis Show. Coming up next hour, we're going to talk to Mike Murray from the Delta Planetarium about life in outer space. Ooh. But stick around. Before that, we have the news, CBS, and the local report. And then we'll be back to talk to you on the second hour of the Art Lewis Show.
From the premier Kitchen and Bath Gallery Studios, WSGW, Saginaw, Bay City, Midland, WSGW FM, Carlton.
This is CBS News on the Hour, presented by Indeed.com.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. The Justice Department is investigating a mass shooting at a Buffalo supermarket as a hate crime. Police believe an 18-year-old targeted the city's black community. Were black, Mayor Byron Brown.
We have increased police patrol, not only in this immediate neighborhood, but in other areas of the city.
This man's sibling was among the victims.
My brother wasn't perfect. He wasn't great, but he changed his life. He wasn't, but he was a good man. He was a good father to him. He was not a bad guy. And he was all I had left.
Police say the suspect threatened a shooting at his high school almost a year ago. Parishioners at a church in Southern California are being credited with saving lives after they tackled a gunman who'd killed one person and wounded 5. Orange County Undersheriff Jeff Halleck.
We believe a group of churchgoers detained him and hogtied his legs with an extension cord and confiscated at least 2 weapons from him.
The suspect and the victims all of Asian descent. Lawmakers in Washington say they're working to families who can't find enough.
U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi calls the shortages unconscionable. Tennessee Congressman John Rose described the search by a young mother in his district.
She recently had to go to 6 stores and then ultimately travel over 6 hours to find formula.
The House Education and Labor Committee is writing legislation to give the federal government's Women, Infants, and Children program emergency authority to break supply chain log jams. There are other proposals to make it easier to import formula. And the FDA commissioner testifies about shortages here on Thursday. Scott McFarland, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
After years of remaining neutral, Sweden is joining Finland and applying for NATO membership. Finnish tour guide Rita Mustonen says it's a must to secure her country in light of the war in Ukraine.
Because we need more power. You see, Russia is a country that respects only power, nothing else.
Mickey D's is pulling out of Russia altogether. Correspondent Vicki Barker is at the foreign desk.
62,000 McDonald's employees have been on full pay since March, even though the restaurants were closed to comply. The company expects to have to write off as much as $1.4 billion when it exits the market where it's been a big presence since 1990.
JetBlue has launched a hostile takeover bid for Spirit Airlines. Spirit turned down an all-cash offer earlier this month of $33 a share. The Dow is down 167 points. S&P off 25. This is CBS News.
Find your next great hire with Indeed. Their hiring platform makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire candidates all in the same place. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Join the winning team at Saginaw Eagles Landing. We're hosting interviews every Wednesday beginning April 27th for a variety of full-time and part-time summer positions. Wait staff, cashiers, bartenders, line cooks, security, and more. Interviews are each week at our hotel. Yeah, that's April 27th and every Wednesday through May 25th. For more information, visit Saginaw-EaglesLanding.com.
I have sleep apnea, and I used to struggle with CPAP. Until recently, I hadn't had a good night's sleep since 2005. Do you remember 2005? We used cell phones like actual phones, and everyone wanted life hacks. Here's a life hack for anyone who struggles with CPAP. Get Inspire. It's a sleep apnea treatment that works inside your body to give you comfortable, restful sleep. Learn more at InspireSleep.com.
Inspire is not for everyone. Talk to your doctor to see if it's right for you and review important safety information at InspireSleep.com.
These days, it's getting harder and harder to find savings. But you may have more cash than you realize in your home's equity. Unlock it today with a cash-out refinance from Rocket Mortgage. In the last year, average home values have gone up nearly 20%. That means you from your home. And with Rocket Mortgage, you could get all that cash in as little as 3 weeks. Put your hard-earned money to work. Pay down high-interest debt and combine your balances into one simple, low monthly payment. Now is your perfect opportunity to take control of your financial future. So what are you waiting for? When you want to consolidate debt and simplify your finances, Rocket can. Call 8338-ROCKET today or go to rocketmortgage.com to get started. That's 8338-ROCKET or go to rocketmortgage.com. Rocket. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender licensed in all 50 states and MLSConsumerAccess.org number 3030. Call 800-490-1233 for disclosures and cost information.
Live from the 100.5 and 790 newsroom, this is WSGW News.
Sunny skies and 6:05. Good morning. I'm Mike Burchup. The city of Saginaw will resume collection efforts and water service shutoffs for delinquent Saginaw utility accounts starting on July 18th. The city previously suspended water shutoffs in 2020 due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Has worked diligently over the past 18 months to assist citizens and businesses who are struggling financially and help connect them to available financial assistance from local agencies. Prior to resuming shutoffs for non-payment, fiscal services staffs will continue their efforts to contact all water and sewer customers who are behind on their payments, advising them to make payment arrangements and or seek assistance with payments from 211 Northeast Michigan, MSHDA, Michigan Homeowner Assistance Fund, Michigan Department of Health and Human Services, or the Saginaw County Community Action Committee. Any account shown as delinquent with no recent payment activity or approved payment arrangement will be in jeopardy of disconnection beginning on July 18th. You can call 759-1450 to contact water billing in the city. An April 25th shooting at the Birch Park apartment complex in Saginaw has led to several felony charges against a brother and a sister. According to police, DeMontre Hardman and Ronisha Long shot and critically wounded an 18-year-old man in the incident. Hardman is charged with several felonies, including assault with intent to murder, felony firearm, carrying a concealed weapon, felon in possession of a firearm, and other firearm-related charges. Long is charged with assault with intent to murder, felony firearm, and carrying a concealed weapon. Hardman has a court date this Wednesday, while Long's next court appearance is pending. WSGW News Time, 10:07.
Come on out and support local artists and crafters this Saturday and Sunday at Johnson's Giant Pumpkin Farm. Our second annual Spring Craft Show promises to be great fun, plus a great time shopping and meeting friends you haven't seen since last fall. More than 75 vendors will provide so much to browse. Our fall season, you will have a fun day of shopping. And since it's at Johnson's Giant Pumpkin Farm, bring the family. We have horse rides, a face painter, kettle corn, balloon twister, photographer, and for the kid and all of us, snow cones. The kids will love to see and feed the animals. And speaking of food, enjoy food trucks from 520, Un Poco Loco Taco, Sushi Remix, Wonder Burger, and Snowball Shaved Ice all around the grounds. DJs will be here for the weekend as well. We can't wait to see you. That's this Saturday, May 21st, 10 a.m. till 4 p.m. and Sunday, May 22nd, 10 a.m. till 4 p.m. This event will be outside and in our large barn with open doors, rain or shine. 4715 North Portsmouth Road is where we're located. Johnson's Giant Pumpkin Farm's second annual Spring Craft Show. It's a family fun weekend this Saturday and Sunday at Johnson's.
WSGW News Time, 10:08. The weather forecast is coming up. The locks have been changed at the former St. Agnes Convent in Flint, and the city has put up violation notices. WNAM TV5 reports the city's divisions say the former convent is a hazard and a nuisance as a dangerous structure, and it's unfit for human occupancy. Flint City Council passed a resolution in 2019 to allow the property to be sold to Yvonne Penton, but it required her to pay more than $71,000 in back taxes, and the city was never paid. The property will be relisted for sale. Legislation is being proposed in Lansing by Republican State Representative Mike Muller, who will help police officers respond more effectively to critical incidents like active shooter situations in schools by keeping everyone on the same page.
A lot of things when you're going to a critical incident like an active shooter or a barricaded gunman, where the communication is very hectic, and you're setting up command posts, and you're trying to find intersections that you can go to or landmarks that officers know. But when you have a major incident, you're going to have jurisdictions responding from all over.
Who Brown says critical incident mapping is currently being utilized by the military and provides satellite imaging to create a real-life depiction of a building and the area surrounding it, including labels of importance on a map. Skybridge, Michigan, the 1,200-foot-long suspension bridge being built at Boyne Mountain Resort in Boyne Falls has reached a major milestone in its construction this past week.
Say something.
Good morning. Good to see you.
There we go. Good. All right. We'll be with you in a couple of minutes. Hang on.
No, you're great. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
Both ends of the bridge. The design is a nod to the logging heritage of northern Michigan, with lumber sourced from neighboring Metelsky Lumber. Positioned at the crest between McLouth and Disciples Ridge, Skybridge, Michigan is set to become the world's longest timber-towered suspension bridge and will offer resort guests and visitors alike an exhilarating experience. WSGW News Time at 10:10. I'm Mike Percha.
Here's your WSGW weatherology forecast. Showers and thunderstorms at times here for today, with a blend of clouds and sunshine developing, a high in the mid-70s. Northwest winds at 10 to 15 miles per hour, gusting as high as 25. And for tonight, decreasing cloud cover, although near 45. Tuesday, sunshine, a high of 66 degrees. Then by Wednesday, a chance for rain showers, cloudy, a high of 63. Thursday, mostly sunny skies, high of 76 degrees. Then by Friday, we'll have a chance for some rain showers here, cloudy sky conditions, and a high of around 83. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki with the WSGW Weatherology forecast.
Currently, it's 61.
The only local radio talk show offering you the chance to ask your questions and express your opinions from around your block to around the world. The Art Lewis Show is on 100.5 and 790 WSGW and online, WSGW.com.
And a good morning to you. Welcome back to hour number 2 of the Art Lewis Show here on WSGW from my second on Spirit Home studio. On this Monday morning, delighted to be with you. We are here. Who's out there? Anybody in space? Well, it's the subject of a film, and we're going to find out more about it and talk about space a little bit with our very special guest this morning from the Delta College Planetarium. We say good morning to Mike Murray. Mike, good morning to you.
Good morning to you. Thank you for having me.
All right. Thanks for being with us. What's your role at the planetarium?
So as the manager and astronomer, that means that we're in charge of producing and presenting all kinds of different shows. Sometimes people will tell me, oh, I remember when I went there as a kid. But we have lots and lots of public shows and specialty programs as well.
Are you an astronomer by training?
So I did. I started as a research astronomer, but I'd always loved production and presentation. And I guess my father was a DJ for 40 years and my mother was an artist. So I guess you mix all of that together with my passion for astronomy, and being a show producer and presenter and performer just came naturally.
I went the other way. I grew up in New York City and spent many a day at the Hayden Planetarium. I love that place, and it almost triggered me to study astronomy. Almost. But
there are some wonderful
different directions.
Planetariums.
Oh, there are, and you know, I grew up with Hayden, and it set the standard for me. But it's a very interesting science. It truly is. I have a theory, so I'm going to tell you my theory.
Mm-hmm.
Get an astronomer's reaction before we get into this film.
Mm-hmm.
My theory is simply because we are here proves to me something of life form can be someplace else. Because even if you look at it from a biblical standpoint, God created the heavens and the earth, and he created us, but it doesn't say he didn't create somebody else.
That's right. And it's in no way conflicting with religion to suggest that there might be life that has grown on some other planet in some other system. And so it's a fascinating search because it teaches us a lot about ourselves.
Yeah, I think we're going to be disappointed as a society, though, if we find that life, because I don't think it's going to look very much like the freak shows the movies have played over the years, creating these.
I don't think they're going to look humanoid.
I can only hope, you can only hope. Well, tell us about, there's a film coming out on this, isn't there?
We just opened this film. It's called The Search for Life in Space. It was originally produced as a giant screen film, like for the big giant IMAX theaters.
Yeah.
And so it was produced by a major company, McGilvery-Freeman, and they got Malcolm McDowell to narrate the program. And to me, it's one of the best shows we've brought here in years. The production values, of course, are phenomenal, but the story that they tell and Malcolm's way of bringing you into this human story of what it means to be living. What does it mean for life to exist? What would be the implications? It runs throughout the entire film.
So it's interesting that I'm talking to you today because in doing my research for the show this morning and pulling down some headlines, this one caught my attention. Inside UFO secrets that could be revealed at bombshell hearing, probing whether aliens pose national security threat. Congress is holding a hearing today on UFOs and how much we know and how much we don't know. I just, the timing was impeccable.
You know, to me, it's really humorous, honestly, that there is so much attention and apprehension. And I guess maybe a part of it is we're in this day of there's a government conspiracy around every corner
Yeah.
and this paranoia. But I've been looking at the evidence for quote unquote UFOs since the 60s. And the thing is that if UFOs are connected to extraterrestrial visitation, there would be a lot more evidence than there is. In other words, I like to use the phrase, seeing is not believing. It takes a lot more evidence than some crazy moving aircraft to prove that these things are of intelligent origin.
I think though those crazy moving aircrafts, here is my view of it, right? The conspiracy theories of government holding back have been around a long time. Goes back to Project Blue Book, was it, I think, or something like that?
That's correct.
And the reason I know that is very early in my career, back in the early 60s, I worked in New Mexico and was involved in reporting a sighting.
Mm-hmm.
I swore I would never do that again, because when the Air Force showed up, they immediately branded you as a wacko. I mean, they didn't want to hear the realities. Whether there were any or not didn't make any difference. So I understood back then that, the government's tightly controlling all of that, all of the information they have.
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't change my beliefs that there's certainly potential. But I think what it is in the human condition, it's the fear of the unknown that brings us to this point where we are concerned, because we don't know.
I agree. And that's why you, as a good scientist, you would say, well, then we need to do the experiment and we need to gather the data. And we're far from any kind of conclusion. By the way, a lot of the what happens with the government coming in to try to control that information, what I found in most instances is that the Air Force or the military were doing something very advanced, and they didn't want that to get. Take Area 51, for example. That was where they developed the stealth aircraft, the F-117 and the bomber. So it's no wonder that you would see a lot of lights moving around with no sound. So that was really a reason for the secrecy. But it's easy whenever there's any secret for the imagination to go wild.
Where I worked in the early 60s, my first job was in Clovis, New Mexico, which is the home of Cannon Air Force Base at the time. So it was reasonable to think it could have been something from the Air Force that we saw. They moved like nothing I'd ever seen before, but who knows? Who knows?
Indeed. That's why they're called unidentified.
Exactly. But it has generated through my career more conversation than almost any other topic I can think of.
Absolutely. And I love having that conversation. I don't think anybody should label anybody anything in this search. It's like, well, let's take a closer look. Let's see what other information we have. And so I'm all about exploration, not conspiracy theories.
And who knows? I mean, we may find life on another planet. It could be an amoeba. We don't.
That's right.
We have no idea what we're going to find. So let's back to this film. I mean, if we watch this film, what do we come away with? What's the mission of the film? What's the message of the film?
I think one of the best messages of the film is that life is tenacious, that it can exist in a lot of different extreme environments, much more so than we originally thought, because we've looked for some of the most extreme conditions on Earth, like a mile deep in the ocean around the thermal vents, and there's life. Next to volcanoes, where the conditions are so sulfurous and hot and toxic, and there's life. So the idea that something could exist under very extreme conditions can open up a huge number of planets where life could flourish.
And and the limiting factor there is our vision of what life is, because we only understand it as we live it. And so you don't know. I mean, God created the heavens and the earth and us. He created us to live on this planet under the atmospheric conditions of this planet.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows what creatures adapt to some other planet's atmosphere and surface? You don't know.
Right.
Don't know.
And even within our own solar system, the film looks at what would it have taken for life to have developed on Mars if it ever did. But we also have these moons like Europa that's orbiting around Jupiter that has an icy crust but a liquid ocean underneath. Could there be life or biology of some simple form down there?
Could be. Who knows? Hang on. Got to take a break. We'll come back. We're talking to Mike Murray from the Delta Cottage Planetarium, and we'll tell you when you can see this film and all the other information about it, and talk about a few other things that are going on with the Webb telescope and more, all ahead.
Where are you going, Steve?
Taking your car to Paintbull.
The body shop? What happened?
Relax. Paintbull's more than a body shop. They do detailing, rust proofing, even ceramic graphene coating applications.
Ceramic what?
No idea, but it sounds cool.
Whew, I thought you were going to Paintbull because you wrecked my car.
No, we just need a new bumper.
Get your vehicle looking great at Paintbull on Bay Road in Saginaw. We're more than a body shop. Visit paintbullrepair.com.
We're proud to make Pioneer Sugar for you and your family. Proud to be found in your kitchen, the heart of your home. And it doesn't really matter what you make with Pioneer Sugar, whether it's with our granulated white, light brown, or soft confectioners. It's the memories you'll make using it that will matter the most. Pioneer Sugar, pure and all natural, made from sugar beets grown right here. What could be sweeter than that?
Do you know what people see when they Google you? Search engines don't always get it right. And when they're wrong, it's your reputation on the line. So what do you do when you don't agree with your search results? Call Reputation Defender at 800-401-6681. Reputation Defender is one of the most trusted names in online reputation decade of experience in fixing people's search results, and we can help you too. Using cutting-edge approaches, Reputation Defender pushes unflattering information down to lower pages of your search results, where few people ever look. We also promote the good stuff so that it rises to the top, letting you put your best foot forward. Your good name is too valuable to leave to the whims of a Google algorithm. You owe it to yourself to take control with Reputation Defender. Visit www.reputationdefender.com or call 800-401-6681 for free advice on your situation. That's 800-401-6681.
I'm Neil Cavuto, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Stocks open modestly lower. Investors are looking at new reports on China's economy that indicate COVID lockdowns last month had a crushing impact on industrial production, retail sales, and property investment. Reserve says manufacturing conditions slumped this month in its region. Spirit Airlines shares opened up nearly 8% after the Wall Street Journal reported JetBlue Airways plans a hostile takeover attempt. Spirit has instead accepted a merger offer from Frontier. McDonald's is looking for a buyer for its operation in Russia. Its restaurants there are closed, but it has been paying tens of thousands of employees. Online eyeglass company Warby Parker is dealing with higher prices. It lost money in its recent quarter and its stock opened lower. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Ginny Cosola, invested in you.
Americans just don't trust big media. Now the source to trust is Newsmax. 20 million Americans made the switch and now watch Newsmax. They even have the free Newsmax app on their phones. Make the switch to the Newsmax team with Rob Finnerty, Eric Bolling, Kelly and Rob Schmidt, and weekends with Huckabee, Diamond and Silk, Gorka, and more. Join the millions who have made the switch to Newsmax. You may never go back.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
I struggled with symptoms like frequent gas and stomach pain for years.
I was bloated all the time with daily diarrhea.
At first, I thought it was what I was eating.
I kept thinking it was...
So I did my research and talked to my doctor, and we finally uncovered the truth.
It was actually EPI. Exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI, is a condition where your pancreas is unable to help break down your food.
It can lead to symptoms like diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, unexplained weight loss, and oily stools.
And EPI symptoms can be confused with those of other common digestive conditions like irritable bowel syndrome, Crohn's, and celiac disease.
So getting to the right diagnosis meant being more open with my doctor about the severity of my symptoms and how often they were happening.
But there's good news. EPI is manageable, so don't wait any longer. At identifyepi.com and schedule a visit or call with your doctor to ask, could I have EPI?
Sponsored by AbbVie.
Hi, this is Mike Avery. You know you can hear my outdoor magazine show Sunday mornings, 9 till noon on WSGW. But now there's another option. Saturday morning, 6 till 9. Tune in for the latest outdoor news and information, hunting and fishing tips, wildlife and conservation issues, even some wild game cooking. That's Outdoor Magazine now on Saturday mornings too, 6 till 9, right here on WSGW 790 AM and 100.5 FM.
And that ball is going to get up the gap. They're going to wave Baez around third, and he will score. And Miguel Cabrera will cruise into second base.
The Tigers play tonight at 6:20 on 790 News Radio WSGW.
All right, we are back with you. We're talking to Mike Murray from the Delta College Planetarium. Mike, before we get too far along here in other discussions, and whoops, we shut that off. Before we get too far along here in other discussions, tell everybody when this film is being shown, when it's available, price, and all that good stuff.
Absolutely. So the Search for Light in Space runs every Saturday at 3:30 p.m. And admission is $7 for adults, $5 for students, seniors, children, and military. And you can buy tickets the day of the show, but soon we'll have online ticketing available too. We're finally moving into the 21st century.
Good thing you're looking out in space. I think you should be. Yes. You don't need a reservation, then just have to buy the tickets in advance.
You do not need a reservation. Sure, you can just show up.
Yeah. Tell everybody, inside that big popcorn bucket, how many seats do you have?
There are 140 seats. And I love your reference to the bucket. We hear that a lot too. I call it the upside down KFC bucket.
Yeah, that too. Yes, that's right. That's right. All right.
A lot of people have asked about that, by the way, and it's actually meant to take the shape of a rocket nozzle. And the orange and red colors are the colors of some of the gases in the sun.
Yeah, very good. There is a reason for it.
Correct.
All right, let's talk about a couple other things. From an astronomer's standpoint, the importance of the new James Webb Telescope.
Oh, this is one of the most exciting times in astronomy, just like the time the Hubble first launched, because the James Webb is not just a lot bigger than Hubble. It's an infrared telescope. And what that means is it's going to look in a part of the spectrum that can pierce through a lot of the intervening dust and gas that blocks our view of certain part, like say the center of the Milky Way, where we just got that new black hole picture. But also it can look farther back into time than Hubble, because everything has become so redshifted, so shifted over toward the red end of the spectrum. By the time you get back in the early universe, Hubble can't see that. So the very first chapter, the first stars and the first galaxies ever to form, we hope to be able to see for the first time.
So let's talk about this black hole for a minute. It's at supposedly the edge of our universe, right?
The black hole that the picture we just released was a supermassive black hole in the center of our Milky Way galaxy.
Center of the Milky Way galaxy. All right.
Correct.
So infinity implies no end. Is the universe infinite?
It could very well be, since we can't see all the way past the boundaries of our universe. It would be logical to assume that there are perhaps other universes beyond that boundary that we can't see. And so infinity, I think, is mathematically, of course, it's plausible. But, in terms of being able to get evidence, that's problematic.
All right, so we get these photos of the black hole. It's the first ones in a long, 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 long time. Describe for us from the astronomy viewpoint a black hole? What is it?
A black hole is what happens to a supermassive star when it dies. You know how some stars will contract, turn into a white dwarf eventually, like the sun, but bigger stars, when they contract violently and blow up, but they super crush the core. And that core of the star gets so tight and the gravity is so strong that not even light can get away from it. In the center of the Milky Way, you have lots of black holes that have merged to create what's called a supermassive black hole, over 4 million times the mass of the sun.
How do we know that's how a black hole is formed? How do we know it's a superplanet that implodes or explodes and all of that? How did we come about that knowledge?
When you look out into deep space and even into other galaxies, we see supernova explosions. And we can measure what the mass of that star was because we can go back and look at it before it blew up. And so by taking all that data and running it in, crunching it into physics, then you can describe how the collapse would have occurred and what the mass of the leftover core would be.
All right, so let's get some basic astronomy out of the way here.
Sure.
We're not a star, we're a planet.
Correct. The Earth is a planet that's orbiting around a star.
And the star is the sun.
Correct. So we are just one solar system.
And so it's theoretical. The sun could act like all those other stars and blow up someday, couldn't it?
So the sun doesn't have enough mass to supernova or explode. Depending on how much mass a star begins with will determine its fate. So you need a star that's much more massive, at least 5 times more massive than the sun, for it to become a supernova when it dies. The sun won't have a big annihilation, as I put it. It will shrink and it might puff off its outer layers into a shell of gas and dust, but the star left over will be a white dwarf.
Sure. You can hang on. You're not in a rush, are you?
No.
Oh, good. To the listeners, if you have any questions about life in outer space, about the planets, stars, what have you, why don't you give us a call and chat with Mike Murray from the Delta College Planetarium. It's a great learning experience, great opportunity. 989-752-6111 would be the number to call and ask your questions or put forth your theories to Mike, who will then either agree or shoot them down, one or the other. But either way, we would love to hear from you this morning. So when we look at the planets, we deplanetized one of them. Which one got removed from being a planet and why?
So we've all heard of the situation around Pluto. And Pluto, when it was first discovered in 1930 by Clyde Tombaugh, it was thought to have been much more massive than it is. We did already notice right away that it was in a very strange orbit, tilted. Its orbital plane was tilted to the rest of the solar system. Its orbit was much more elliptical. So we knew that there was something really unusual about it. But at the time, we thought Pluto might be as massive as the Earth. Well, as telescopes and technology got better, we revised the estimate down smaller and smaller and smaller. And it turned out Pluto is even smaller than our own moon. And its composition turned out to be much more icy, like the other icy small bodies left out there at the edge of the solar system. So it needed to be reclassified. And by the way, this isn't the first time this has happened. In 1801, we discovered the very first asteroid. Now, you've probably all heard of the asteroids, those rocky bodies that orbit by the millions between Mars and Jupiter, most of them anyway. Well, the first one that was discovered was pretty large, about 600 miles wide, and they called it a planet. And it stayed that way for almost 40 years because they only knew about 4 asteroids by the 1840s. And then, lo and behold, what happened? We started finding thousands of them. And that's what's happening out at Pluto, too. We found thousands of other icy bodies that are as large or smaller than Pluto. So they were classified as a dwarf planet, just like the planet Ceres, the asteroid, became reclassified as asteroids. So it's not the first time this has happened.
Let's look at it the other way. Is it likely we're going to find a new planet in our solar system?
There are some astronomers that are looking at the orbits of a lot of those outer icy bodies and even the outer planets. And they're crunching the numbers to see if there might be a real Planet 9, one that's maybe as big as the planet Neptune, but it would be hundreds of times farther away. Now,
wait.
Yeah, go ahead.
You said Planet 9.
Yes.
I always thought there were 8 with Pluto. Did I miscount?
No, this would be the new Planet 9 if it's discovered.
The new Planet 9.
This is thought to be a very large planet, possibly, that's orbiting far beyond Pluto. But
it doesn't replace Pluto then?
No, not at all. Pluto is still a very special world. It's now a dwarf planet, but there are other dwarf planets now. So Pluto is just the most famous of the dwarf planets.
We're going to take a break. We're talking to Mike Murray from the Delta College Planetarium about life in outer space and astronomy. And if you have any questions or comments about it, by all means, give us a call. And the Search for Life in Outer Space, the film will be seen Saturdays, 3 o'clock at the Delta College Planetarium. And we'll tell you more about that as we go on throughout this hour. We'll be back after these notes.
This is Jason from Applied Training Solutions in the Midland Mall. We are the Midwest's premier self-defense academy. From our state-of-the-art digital firearm range to open-hand self-defense classes, we are building a safer community one student at a time. We offer concealed pistol license classes that combine both live fire and digital range training. Online at simurange.com and Facebook at Applied Training Solutions, forward thinking on target training.
Inflation in Michigan and the Midwest, highest in the nation. Annette Glenn is running for state senate to fight for new jobs, energy independence, to cut fuel costs, cut taxes, and drug costs. Annette Glenn, fighting for us. Paid for by Annette Glenn for state senate.
Are you ready for retirement? Well, Jason and Carl Kreiderman with Great Lakes Investment Advisors have a new book that can help make retiring easier. In Empower Your Retirement, they talk about how a well thought out financial plan can make the difference between just surviving and thriving in retirement. Using everyday language, this book explores how a simple process all the bases of your financial life, including how taxes can affect your retirement and much more. Your finances are too important to leave to chance. Empower Your Retirement is written to help you understand the must-dos to prepare for the retirement you desire. Get your free copy of Empower Your Retirement by calling 989-848-1188. That's 989-848-1188. And for more on retirement planning, tune into Jason and Carl's radio show, Your Financial Empower Hour, every Sunday morning at 8. Firm provides insurance services, investment advisory services offered by Great Lakes Investment Advisors, Inc., a registered investment advisor firm in the state of Michigan. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss.
Parent, you know kids are amazing and expensive, but with Fabric, protecting your family with term life insurance is surprisingly affordable with a personalized policy for your family starting at less than $1 a day. It's quick, easy, all online, and you could be approved instantly. Plus, no risk, cancel anytime. Secure your family's financial future today at meetfabric.com/future. That's MEET fabric.com/future. Fabric Insurance Agency policies issued by Vantis Life, not available in New York and Montana. Prices subject to underwriting and health questions.
Your local radio stations are here for you. No subscriptions or monthly fees necessary. We're here to give you the news, weather, and traffic you need, and the music you... When owned record labels get their way, it could stop the music. They want Congress to force radio stations to pay them more money, simply to play their music. Don't let radio go silent. Text LOCAL to 52886 and tell Congress to protect local radio stations. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Do you know what people see when they Google you? Search engines don't always get it right. And when they're wrong, it's your reputation on the line. So what do you do when you don't agree with your search results? Call Reputation Defender at 800-401-6681. Reputation Defender is one of the most trusted names in online reputation. We have over a decade of experience in fixing people's search results, and we can help you too. Using cutting-edge approaches, Reputation Defender pushes unflattering information down to lower pages of your search results, where few people ever look. We also promote the good stuff so that it rises to the top, letting you put your best foot forward. Your good name is too valuable to leave to the whims of a Google algorithm. You owe it to yourself to take control with Reputation Defender. Visit www.reputationdefender.com or call 800-401-6681 for free advice on your situation. That's 800-401-6681.
And Camp and Robin show, Biden's new excuse for failure, he can't read minds, nor teleprompters for that matter.
Mark Leave and Camp and Robbins, weekdays at noon on 100.5 and 790 News Radio WSGW. You are with WSGW in the premier kitchen and bath gallery showroom and design center studios.
All right, we're back with you on the Art Lewis Show. We're talking to Mike Murray from the Delta College Planetarium, home of the film The Search for Life in Outer Space. Saturdays, 3 o'clock, and we'll tell you more about it before we conclude our conversation this morning. So, Mike, as an astronomer, living in this day and age where we have great technology improving every day, James Webb Telescope is a perfect example.
Mm-hmm.
Is it worth the money to send humans to Mars?
The idea of sending humans to another place is like Mars is because they can do so much more than robot spacecraft. And if we really want to get a lot of science and a lot of exploration done, you can do more with a human on Mars in one day than you could do with, say, a month of one of those robot rovers that's on Mars right now. Now, that's not to discount that they aren't valuable, and robotic exploration will continue and will give us a lot of great information, but you can do so much more with a human presence.
Like what? Give us an example. When you say we can do more, what can a human do more than that robot or an orbiting satellite with technology? What are they going to find that we can't do with technology?
So they can make a quick judgment as to what to pick up, what to analyze, whereas a robotic craft has to navigate very slowly. It has to scan and look for different samples. Then it has to take the time in order to gather it. It doesn't have the ability, even with AI yet, to be able to react quickly with a brain and allow you to select, say, the right samples or to be able to conduct repairs on itself. It can do things in real time.
So if that robot were given AI, would that change your view?
It would help. It would improve. And in fact, they already do use AI to a point. That's one of the ways that they're able to avoid hazards and things like that on its own. But it's not at and would never be at a point where it would replace a human being and its judgment and its reaction.
So having said that, what did we learn from going to the moon?
We actually learn a lot about what the early solar system was like and what the early environment of the Earth-Moon system was like. So we get to learn a lot more about how did the moon form? And in fact, how did the Earth form for that matter? Where did the moon come from? Was it captured or did it come out of the Earth? And we think we have a much better answer to those questions already.
Which is
also a test bed.
So what's the answer? Where did the moon come from?
Right now, yeah, there we go. How about that for a lead-in? It does look pretty conclusive that a very large body, probably the size of Mars, hit the Earth very early in its history when it was still partially molten and blew off a part of the Earth and the object into a huge ring of material around the Earth, which after about a month coalesced into the moon.
So I want to go back to something we said early on in the program. And you just mentioned the collision, the potential collision with a bigger body.
Mm-hmm.
Does astronomy conflict with Genesis?
Astronomy is just a way of exploring the details of God's creation. It's not there to try to disprove or try to conflict with anything in any religion. The idea is, well, what if we have the tools to look at the finer details? Because things, a lot of the religious texts are, in many cases, not meant to be scientifically detailed textbooks. And so to me, it's not a conflict. It's simply, we're going to dig into the much finer details. We're not looking at the who and the why. We're looking at the how and the when and where.
Because the Bible, when you look at Genesis, pretty ambivalent in terms of date and dating. For example, God created the heavens and the earth. Well, how long did that take? A day? A billion days? A billion years? Nobody knows.
Are those God's days, or are they?
Yeah, because He created the heavens and the earth. Created the heavens and the earth first, and then said, "Let there be light."
Correct.
So, how long did it take to get a day? We don't know the answer to that, do we?
Yeah. So it's not meant to be taken super literally in scientific terms, and to me, that's not a conflict at all. You're simply looking to the finer points.
All right, hang on. I have to take a break. Talking to Mike Murray from the Delta College Planetarium, a fascinating topic, life in outer space, and where we fit into this picture. We'll be back.
Want to pay less for gas? Stop at any one of your local 26 Forward Shell convenience stores, where you'll save at least 5 cents a gallon on every fill-up with Shell Fuel Rewards. Earn even more cents off when you make purchases in-store on some of your favorite snacks and drinks. Stack the savings, and you can regularly save 10, 20 off each gallon of gas. That's Fuel Rewards and your area Forward Shell convenience stores. And remember, when you want to pay less at the pump, go forward.
Is your current home loan the right fit for you? Rising home values mean that you could have more home equity than you might imagine. And if you're considering a refi, an expertly chosen loan from Loan Depot could save you thousands. Ask about their smart term loans, cash out, and over 300 loan options to find just the right mortgage loan for you. Call now, 866-888-LOAN, or go to loandepot.com. Loan Depot, where home means everything. Rates are subject to change. Equal housing opportunity lender. NMLS number 174457. Licensed in all 50 states.
Chances are you're jamming in your car right now. And since Liberty Mutual customizes car insurance, so you only pay for what you need, Limu and I are going to show you some safe car dance moves. Hit it. Everybody, check your blind spots real quick. Now hands on the wheel. And move your head like a bird do. Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Why do I love to work at Alpha Media Saginaw?
Awesome stations, fun work environment,
My work family, endless opportunities, because it doesn't feel like work.
Hi, I'm Carrie Gustafson, General Sales Manager at Alpha Media Saginaw. We are expanding our marketing department and looking for the right team player to continue to help local businesses grow through on-air and digital campaigns. We have an amazing staff and 5 awesome local radio stations. So if you want to get up every day loving what you do,
apply now at alphamediausa.com/careers. Alpha Media is an EEO employer.
The WSGW Morning Team Show.
The WSGW online poll, the U.S. government operating a disinformation governance board. Department of Homeland Security announced the formation of this board. It's described this way: to protect national security by combating foreign misinformation and disinformation. No government agency should be involved in any determination of what constitutes disinformation. Officials say it's not going to monitor American citizens and would work diligently to protect privacy. So the poll question is, should the U.S. government operate a disinformation governance board? You could say yes, absolutely necessary under any circumstances. You could say yes, but only if it guarantees to target foreign sources. You could say no, because you have concerns that American interests could be investigated. Or you could say no, period. Under no circumstances should government have misinformation. Or you could say I'm not sure. I want you to head to WSGW.com, scroll down the homepage, find that poll box, and make your vote that way, please.
Good morning, team. Weekdays 5:30 to 9 on WSGW. For 55 consecutive years, WSGW is your home for Tigers baseball.
Fly ball, right center field, deep on the run. Laureano over his glove, up against the wall. Cabrera around first. He'll head to second. Into score comes Candelario. Throw, not in time. Career double, 6.
Tigers Baseball, brought to you in part by
A Plus Plumbing in Midland.
Lingle Equipment Company. Your home for Detroit Tigers Baseball is WSGW.
All right, we're back with you on the Art Lewis Show, where I am having a grand time talking to Mike Murray from the Delta College Planetarium. And we'll remind you about the film before we leave this segment. But I have to ask this question, Mike. I've avoided it. I didn't ask it up front, but I will ask it now.
Shoot.
Because it calls for speculation, something you scientists don't like to do.
Oh, you'd be surprised.
Well, good. In your opinion, is it possible that we have ever been visited by some type of alien life form?
Well, it comes down to the evidence for me. And I have not seen any evidence of visitation. But because, again, I like to keep an objective mind, because it's easy to speculate, and it's easy to say, well, the probability might be there. But actually, I'm not sure even the probability is very high, because here's the biggest problem with being visited by extraterrestrial life. It's the distance factor. The fact that even if you could travel at the speed of light, it could take you generations to get here, or for us to go there. And so that creates a huge barrier.
Yeah, but having said that, that's all within the concept of our understanding of speed, propulsion, all of those things. For all we know, could there not be some more advanced society that has a whole different platform to do that?
Oh, absolutely. I would never be so arrogant as to say, well, they have to travel the way that we know at this time. But right now, the laws of physics prevent anything from traveling at the speed of light. Or
our laws of physics.
Correct.
Yeah, that's the catch, isn't it?
You bet.
All right. So Roswell and all those places that have been noted for generations, what do you think's there, and what do you think ever happened there?
Roswell was a very large Mylar weather balloon, actually not a weather balloon, but there were a lot of experiments being done with, and these are big silvery looking objects,
right?
Because they were using Mylar. And I'm actually pretty familiar with that. That's not where, but that was what I did a lot of graduate work with, is in flying high altitude balloons. And when something like that is seen way up in the sky, it can look like a big silvery object flying around. And so when it was recovered, the military kept a lot of people away from it, because, again, it was a classified project at that time.
And so the conspiracy theorists come up with creatures, and you name it, all being housed in Roswell and kept from us. So,
and right? If you look at a lot of the sources for those videos, they're very easy to debunk. But see, here's the thing. I'm not trying to throw a wet blanket on all of our ideas that there could be life out there in space. I would love to see it. I just want to be able to see a little bit more evidence than, oh, I saw this silvery looking thing flying around one time, and that's the only evidence. And so what I'm saying is, I think that the possibility, the probability even, that there is life out there, even just in the Milky Way galaxy, could be quite high. But we need the evidence.
Are we any closer to believability because of some of the visual sources? For example, recently, Navy pilots, commercial pilots have reported things. Is their reporting any more credible than somebody standing on the ground and looking up?
It's credible in terms of how they would see and describe the motions of these objects that are flying around aircraft. And yeah, there was that report of a small cluster of objects that was following a fighter jet and was moving around in very erratic forms and such. And I don't doubt that report at all. But what was it? There are a lot of secret programs being run by other countries, and even by our own, in terms of new experimental aircraft and monitoring and such. Now they're not just going to come right out and say, no, it wasn't an alien spacecraft. It was this secret thing we're working on. Of course they're not going to come out.
Of course they're not. No. We understand that. Well, listen, I want to end reminding everybody of the Delta Planetarium and the movie coming up Saturdays. Tell everybody about the movie again, the whens and wheres and all that.
Thank you. The Search for Life in Space, narrated by Malcolm McDowell. Probably one of the best films I think we've brought in recent years. And it will run every Saturday at 3:30 p.m. And the building opens to the public at 1 o'clock. You can get your tickets then. And it's a fabulous film. We have, and the prices, $7 for adults, $5 for children, seniors, students, and military. You can also go to our website, which is delta.edu/planetarium.
And do you do planet shows? Projecting on the dome?
Absolutely. In fact, at the end of every one of our public shows, we do a live segment about current events and hot topics. We'll even show you the picture of the new supermassive black hole in the Milky Way. And we'll show you what's going on with the Webb Space Telescope. And we hope to have a NASA community event in July to celebrate and show everybody the first pictures released from the Webb Telescope.
Okay. So I assume I will also see the first alien being on your screens too.
Yeah, we'll put a picture in the James Webb. How about that?
Thank you. There we go. Well, Mike, listen, I have to tell you, this was a thrill for me. It was a great pleasure. I love talking about this stuff. It's so much fun.
I appreciate you having me.
It's fun at the same time. It's serious, and we'll have to do it again, my friend.
I hope so. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day. Keep your head out of the stars now.
I'm trying.
Mike Murray from the Delta College Planetarium. We thank him for being with us this morning. We'll take a break, come back, and close out this hour of the Art Lewis Show.
Winning big at Soaring Eagle. Make a run for the money, and you could win up to $10,000 cash every Friday in May from 7 to 11 p.m. Then on Saturdays, the summer celebration,
so much.
your chance to win up to $5,000 in premium play, or the grand prize, a share of $100,000 cash on May 28th. Resort, your getaway, reimagined. Visit SoaringEagleCasino.com for complete rules and details.
If you owe the IRS back taxes, then get ready to pay up. The IRS has giant private collection agencies actively tracking down folks who owe the IRS. So if you think dodging them was stressful in the past, it's going to get a whole lot tougher. Optima Tax Relief has this. Wait, solve your tax problems now before it's too late. Optima Tax Relief works to stop the demand letters, stop the aggressive collection actions, and stop the IRS collectors from targeting you. Ask Optima about the Fresh Start Initiative, one of the biggest breaks the IRS has ever offered. If you qualify, you could save thousands, and nobody knows. Do. Optima is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, and they get results, having resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Get a fresh start. Call today for your free consultation.
Call 800-364-9188. 800-364-9188. 800-364-9188.
Optima Tax.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
RocketGrabPlus.com. This week's deal on RocketGrabPlus.com is for Nori's Restaurant in Auburn. You are going to get a $20 gift certificate for only $10. Nori's Restaurant in Auburn has a new owner, new menu, and new hours. They're located at 963 West Midland Road in Auburn. They're open Monday through Saturday, 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. and Sunday, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Head to RocketGrabPlus.com right now to snag your deal. RocketGrabPlus.com.
All right, that wraps up this edition of the Art Lewis Show. We thank you for being with us. We thank Mike Murray for joining us for this hour from the Delta College Planetarium. And coming up next hour on Focus, we're going to talk to Lynn Roberts from the Thelen Auto Group in Bay City about something called a Jeep Freedom Ride. We'll learn all about that on Focus, and that'll be along right after the news.
From the Premier Kitchen and Bath Gallery Studios, WSGW, Saginaw, Bay City, Midland, WSGW-FM, Carlton.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Steve Kathan. Buffalo's mayor says the supermarket gunman who killed 10 black people came to his city to take as many lives as he could.
This was a racially motivated attack, and it is scary to know that that kind of racism and hate still exists in our country.
Byron, a white 18-year-old is charged. He had one previous encounter with police and the mental health system. Garnell Whitfield's 86-year-old mother was one of those killed.
My mother was the glue that held us together. My mother was my father's caretaker. We've not shared this information with my father. We don't know if that's in his best interest.
In Southern California, one person was killed, 5 wounded in a shooting yesterday at a Presbyterian church. CBS's Carter Evans in Laguna Woods says some were able to hog tie the suspect with an extension cord.
The suspect is an Asian man in his 60s. He's not believed to live in the area. Investigators are working to determine if he has any connections to the church or its congregants. Now, the 6 victims who were shot are all Asian, and they range in age from 66 to 92 years old.
The Supreme Court rules in a challenge to a provision of federal campaign finance law from a Republican senator, as we hear from CBS's Steve Dorsey in Washington.
The court's conservative majority sided with in a challenge against campaign finance laws. The ruling allows political candidates like Cruz to ignore a $250,000 cap on the amount they can reimburse themselves for campaign expenses after an election. The opinion calls it a restriction on free speech.
Sweden's prime minister calls it historic change in the country's security policy, that move to apply for NATO membership. Finland's pointing in that direction too, and Senate GOP leader Mitch McConnell, visiting Helsinki, says there is support for this on Capitol Hill.
Certainly, we hope to achieve it before the August recess, when Congress typically goes out of session. Obviously, that would be well before the fall election.
Congress is poised to take action this week designed to ease the baby formula shortage. FDA Commissioner Dr. Robert Califf tells CBS Mornings he's working the issue too.
We believe it is possible for all families to get formula. There is enough to go around, but it's not distributed in the right way. So that it's very difficult, and recognize people's concerns.
Spirit Airlines said no to a purchase offer from JetBlue on 2 occasions. Now JetBlue has launched a hostile all-cash takeover bid. Wall Street, right now the Dow is down 144 points. The NASDAQ is down 165. This is CBS News.
There's always something new under the sun. CBS Mornings, weekdays on CBS.
Looking for a new place to call home? The Springs of Frankenmuth is a Wellspring community focused on age-friendly home design, supportive technology, services, and home affordability. The Springs will quickly become part of your active senior lifestyle, so you can forge new friendships and nurture old ones too. To live each day on purpose, with purpose. Visit life at New homes are going fast, so reserve yours today.
I have sleep apnea, and I used to struggle with CPAP. Until recently, I hadn't had a good night's sleep since 2005. Do you remember 2005? We used cell phones like actual phones, and everyone wanted life hacks. Here's a life hack for anyone who struggles with CPAP. Get Inspire. It's a sleep apnea treatment that works inside your body to give you comfortable, restful sleep. Learn more at inspiresleep.com.
Inspire is not for everyone. Talk to your doctor to see if it's right for you and review important safety information at inspiresleep.com.
May is Maytag month, the hardest working month of the year, when you can save on hard-working Maytag performance. Like laundry pairs that make clothes think twice before getting dirty again. Refrigerators that make cold your new favorite flavor. And dishwashers that eat caked on oatmeal for breakfast.
Don't wait. Put the hardest working month of the year to work for you and save big on May, June 1st, because May is Maytag month.
RocketGrabPlus.com.
Why would you pay full price when you know you can save money at RocketGrabPlus.com? Check out our deals going on right now from Salon Blue, Day Spa and Boutique, 120 Fitness, Uplift Creative Center, Woody's Hot Dogs, Wonder Burger, and King's Fish and more. Half off? Yeah, it's true. And it's all at RocketGrabPlus.com.
RocketGrabPlus.com.
Live
From the 100.5 and 790 newsroom, this is WSGW News.
Sunny skies and 61 degrees at 11:05. Good morning, I'm Mike Percha. After a move to close Midland Street as part of its Feet on the Street program, Bay City is looking to add another as a song. Here's WSGW's Rick Antonio.
Bay City Commissioners will be hearing another street closure request, this time coming from Matt Nemode, owner of Mode's Tavern. The proposal would add a special event permit for Lynn Street between Midland and Vermont, running from 2:30 p.m. Thursday to 7 a.m. Monday each week during the 2022 Feet on the Street season from May 19th through October 10th. He says the additional closure will also allow for expanded serving areas for local businesses and public activities, including cornhole tournaments, among other possibilities. This closure follows a recent rescindment of a previous closure after Midland Street was once again approved for the program. Rick Antonio, News Radio 100.5 and 790.
A paraglider crash in Gratiot County last Friday took the life of a 73-year-old man. Police say Stephen Goodell began having mechanical trouble while flying over M46 in Pine River Township, eventually crashing onto the roadway around 6:30 p.m. He was killed in the crash. Police say alcohol does not appear to be a factor as they investigate. Two Saginaw women have developed persons, especially those who are impaired in some way. WNEM TV5 reports Shalana Spellman and Jessica Patman created a QR code with a person's name, age, address, and the phone number of a contact for people who go missing. The pair call their company Sotice. The code can be placed on a key shade tag, which an individual would carry with them. They say the information can help make it easier to locate someone instead of relying on social media to try to track them down. The pair says it's especially useful for people with cognitive impairments or dementia. Spellman and Patman will pitch their idea to Saginaw Soup this Thursday in the hopes of receiving funding for a new laser printer to make smaller and more convenient tags. WSGW News Time 11:07.
When you're up in your sprayer, working your soybean fields, where are you looking? In front of you, so you don't roll into a ditch? To your sides, to see how the boom is doing? Down at your phone? Probably all those places. But there's one more place you should look. Straight ahead into the future. Because how you're farming now will affect how you're able to farm over the next few seasons. If you're only using one side of action, weeds will only become more and more resistant to your preferred chemistries. That's why, if you've made the smart decision to plant Enlist E3 soybeans, don't stop there. Protect them with Enlist herbicides. Their superior tank mix flexibility easily allows for multiple sites of action. Together, you're able to better protect your soybeans and manage resistance beyond this season. Visit Enlist.com to see what a better weed control system can bring to your fields, now and tomorrow.
WSGW News Time 11:08. The weather forecast is coming up next. Crews continue fighting a wildfire in a heavily forested area of northern Michigan that prompted the evacuation of 13 people. Officials say the fire was reported midday Friday and spread by Sunday afternoon to about 2,700 acres in Montmorency and Sheboygan counties in the Pigeon River State Forest. The fire was 60% contained by Sunday evening. They believe the fire was likely sparked by a lightning strike during a Wednesday thunderstorm. State officials say one firefighter suffered a minor injury. Those evacuated were from the Black River Ranch near the town of Onaway, but no residential areas were immediately threatened. The area was under red flag warnings for wildlife danger this week because of dry vegetation and high winds. Gardening can be good for your health, according to Dr. Deborah Benzel, a neurosurgeon at Cleveland Clinic. She says research is finding it can be a great way to help prevent osteoporosis.
I also strongly recommend you do a light stretch and maybe warm your body up a little bit before you get out into the garden. And most important is after you've done the gardening is take the time, 10 or 15 minute stretch, particularly for your back, your upper back and your lower back, because both of these areas get a lot of stress during gardening.
Dr. Benzel says it's never too late to get into gardening and can be beneficial for people of all ages. Upcoming primary elections for state Supreme Court seats in North Carolina and Arkansas are putting the spotlight on how such races across the U.S. have grown in importance in recent years and led to high-dollar partisan battles for control. The Brennan Center for Justice says roughly $97 million was spent on state Supreme Court elections during the 2019-2020 election cycle. Voters in 32 states will cast ballots this year for state Supreme Court. Other states with heated court races in the coming months include Illinois, Michigan, and Ohio. WSGW News Time 11:10. I'm Mike Percha.
Here's your WSGW weatherology forecast. A few spotty showers and thunderstorms possible late today, otherwise a blend of clouds. See high into the mid-70s. Northwest winds at 10 to 15 miles per hour, gusting as high as 25. Then for tonight, decreasing cloud cover, a low near 45. Tuesday, sunshine, a high of 66 degrees. Then by Wednesday, a chance for rain showers, cloudy, a high of 63. Thursday, mostly sunny skies, high of 76 degrees. Then by Friday, we'll have a chance for some rain showers here, cloudy sky conditions, and a high around 83. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki with the WSGW weatherology forecast. Currently, it's 62.
Now, it's time to focus as WSGW presents the people, the places, the businesses, the culture, the area events and activities, all put into focus on 100.5 and 790 News Radio WSGW and online WSGW.com.
Well, good morning to you and welcome. Welcome to another edition of Focus here on WSGW. Nice to be with you on this. It is a Monday already, halfway through the month of May. Focus brought to you by RoofMax, the safe, proven, and affordable alternative to expensive asphalt shingle roof replacement. Find out about RoofMax online at roofmax.com. That's getroofmax.com to avoid confusion with other RoofMax sites. So it's getroofmax.com with two X's. Or if you want personal information, call Ben, 989-859-6751. Find out about RoofMax and how it can help extend the life of your shingles on your roof. We all know that if you have to replace a roof, by goodness, it can be expensive. All right. We're going to learn about a Jeep Freedom Ride and some other things going on in the auto industry today, because while you can take the girl out of radio, you can't take radio out of the girl. My guest this morning used to be in radio. We say good morning to Lynn Roberts up at Thelen. Lynn, good morning.
Good morning, Art. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you doing?
I'm terrific. The sun is shining. It's a beautiful day, and I'm crossing my fingers we don't get any rain.
Yeah, okay. I'm with you. All right. So coming up, something called the Jeep Freedom Ride. Tell us about this. What is it? What's it for?
So the Jeep Freedom Ride, it's a fundraiser for heroes. We started it with, I'm actually on a committee with a group called Bay County, Michigan Jeeps. They have a Facebook page. And they started it last year with the goal to raise money for the Michael Cathcart Memorial Park here in Bay City. And we raised $8,000. The goal was to raise $4,000, but we raised $8,000 for this park. I know. It was just amazing. The community really came together with some terrific area businesses like Meyer & Associates Charitable Foundation, Jolt Credit Union. We were really excited to have them back again this year as sponsors too. But this year we're teaming up, and our goal, so we're switching different organizations to benefit from the money we raise. And this year we decided to benefit something really terrific that's coming to downtown Bay City, and it's called the Bay Area Veterans Workshop. Yep. It's through the Bay Veterans Foundation. And I met Keith Markstrom, and we got talking, and we said, wow, we love this project that you're doing. And, like any projects are, you start running into roadblocks. So they bought the building and started digging, and guess what? There's contaminated soil. That means fundraising. They start pulling the building apart, and we need new infrastructure. That's more fundraising. So our goal is to raise money for that because this Veterans Workshop, the whole message of it is veterans helping veterans. And, you know, as you know, I work with some veterans here at Thelen, and we just want to do what we can to help support our area veterans. And this seemed like the perfect cause for it. So it's a freedom ride. So it's a Jeep ride. It's a photo scavenger hunt. And we meet up at 9 a.m. at Tri-City Brewing in Bay City.
What day?
And then you take off on the scavenger hunt. Oh, this Saturday.
Oh.
Yeah, Saturday. I guess that's important.
Oh, we get that in there, yeah.
Yeah, so it's this Saturday at 9 a.m. at Tri-City Brewing, and then there's a photo scavenger hunt. We serve lunch on the trail with our good friends from Meats and More, and then we have an after party with some giveaways at Tri-City Brewing, and then our Patriot Patio party with live music from a very talented young lady named Elizabeth Christie.
Wow. So what's the cost of all of this, and how does somebody register?
So so you can register a day of, or if you want to, you can register through our website. If you go to any one of our Thelen websites or thinkthelen.com, the registration's there. It's $30 for a Jeep plus the driver, and they get a free T-shirt for joining, and then $10 per passenger. So not too pricey for a day of fun, and you're helping benefit a really great organization.
Wow, and if you don't own a Jeep, I'll bet I know where you can buy one.
Right. We appreciate that. Yeah, I sell Jeeps, so.
Yeah, I kind of thought that was in the cards there. So how long, how long should somebody be prepared to be out in their Jeep doing this?
So we plan for the prize announcements and everything to start at 3 o'clock. We're going to have some terrific vendors out there as well. But about from 3 to 5 is when we're going to do the prize giveaways, and then right around 5 o'clock is when we'll have the live music start. So I mean, for people that don't drive Jeeps, that still, want to come out and be a part of our event, join us for the Patriot Patio Party. That starts right at 5 o'clock. And there's going to be, bonfires and food trucks and all sorts of fun stuff, too. So there's a lot of different opportunities for different people to participate.
Just so we understand, though, to participate in the driving side of it, you need a Jeep, right? It is a Jeep Freedom Ride.
Well,
okay. Sit on that. I got to take a break. So you think about that, and we'll come back and get your answer right after these notes. We'll be back with Lynn Roberts from Thelen.
While you're comfortable inside your home or business, the weather takes a toll on your roof. Wind, rain, hail, UV rays, and the heat of the sun cause premature failure of your shingles. Everyone loves to save money. If you have an aging roof, don't spend a lot of money on replacement. Get a RoofMax shingle treatment and get some peace of mind. Get more life for less money, guaranteed with RoofMax, a powerful fusion of science and nature. Call Ben today at 859-6751.
So what's the most exciting part of playing Millions Cash Payout, the new instant game series from the Michigan Lottery?
It's the cash.
Maybe it's having 4 brand new tickets to play.
No, it's the cash.
Or maybe the tickets are from $2 to $20.
It's the cash.
And they have stars on them.
I'm telling you, it's the cash.
Of course, with top prizes up to $2 million and over $155 million in total prizes. That part is pretty exciting, too.
You think?
Play new Millions Cash Payout.
And put some cash play in your day.
Knowing your limits is always the best bet.
If you owe the IRS back taxes, then get ready to pay up. The IRS has giant private collection agencies actively tracking down folks who owe the IRS. So if you think dodging them was stressful in the past, it's going to get a whole lot tougher. Optima Tax Relief has this advice. Don't wait. Solve your tax problems now before it's too late. Optima Tax Relief works to stop the demand letters, stop the aggressive collection actions, and stop the IRS collectors from targeting you. Ask Optima about the Fresh Start Initiative, one of the biggest breaks the IRS has ever offered. If you qualify, you could save thousands, and nobody knows this program better than they do. Optima is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, and they get results, having resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Get a fresh start. Call free consultation.
Call 800-364-9188. 800-364-9188. 800-364-9188. Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
RocketGrabPlus.com.
This week's deal on RocketGrabPlus.com is for Nori's Restaurant in Auburn. You are going to get a $20 gift certificate for only $10. Nori's Restaurant in Auburn has a new owner, new menu, and new hours. They're located at 963 West Midland Road in Auburn. They're open Monday through Saturday, 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. and Sunday, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Head to RocketGrabPlus.com right now to snag your deal.
RocketGrabPlus.com.
Has this ever happened to you? Your significant other says, we've got to redo the kitchen, and you break out into a cold sweat?
Well, don't worry. It's a common condition, something we call needless remodeling anxiety, and we've got the cure. Hi, I'm Tom Kreitler.
And I'm Leslie Segretti. Whether you do it yourself or direct it yourself, we can help you keep your project on track and on budget.
So join us this weekend for the Money Pit Home Improvement Radio Show.
The Money Pit, Saturday mornings at 9 on WSGW.
Broadcasting from the premier kitchen and bath gallery showroom and design center studios. This is WSGW.
All right, we're back with you talking to Lynn Roberts from Thelen Auto Group about the Jeep Freedom Ride coming up this Saturday, beginning at 9 o'clock. Again, where are you starting from?
From Tri-City Brewing. It's right on Shrestha Drive. It's right behind our dealership,
Right.
actually. Yeah.
And is that where you end up?
Yep. We're going to start there and end there. So that way it just kind of, you give everybody a nice central location to find. And this one is a little different in that our photo scavenger hunt, we're kind of letting people pick their own places. So we're giving you a general idea, and then you have to fulfill that picture need the best you think. So it's going to be really interesting this year, and I'm really excited about some of the photos we get.
So basically, you're not scavenging for particular items that you're going to take. You're simply going to photograph them.
Yeah,
and that's proof that you saw the item.
Yeah, so we might say something like, we want a picture of your Jeep with water.
So
now,
you could go out to the bay or whatever.
Right, or you could just get a bottle of water and set it on your Jeep,
Oh, okay. Clever.
We're really looking forward to people's creativity with this, and just really making a lot of fun.
Yeah. Let me ask about something else. We'll come back to this before we're done. Cool City Car Show is not that far off. Do we have dates yet?
You know what? I do not have the dates in front of me currently, but I believe up for that, and we'll have that information coming out real soon.
Because that's always a great event that we're at. And, the Thelen dealerships, and we should point this out, like many of the family dealerships, they get involved in the community, don't they?
They really do. So, I mean, when you think about it, this is family owned and operated. The dealerships are, and they're great supporters of our community because you know what? They live and raise their families in our community as well. These aren't people that live, thousands of miles away, making decisions. My boss, Mike Thelen, I mean, I see him every day. Or, my boss, I walk right into his office and ask him, so they're absolutely terrific people and wonderful community supporters.
Yeah, I'm glad you're talking about it because it's pulling teeth to get Mike to talk about it. So.
Yeah, I mean.
And of course, for those that don't know, I've represented the Thelen dealerships I have lost track. It's got to be 15, 16 years, maybe more.
Mm-hmm.
And the relationship with Mike and Pat and Joe, the Thelen boys, and before that, their dad, was just phenomenal. I mean, and still is. And they are just salt of the earth people. I love talking to them. I love being with them.
And they appreciate that. And I know the feelings mutual for you, Art, too, from them.
So what do you miss about radio, Lynn?
I still, you mentioned earlier, you can't always take the radio out of the girl, and I love radio. I listen to radio all the time and it's something I still enjoy. But you have to have some new challenges and new aspirations and things to look forward to. And, I always appreciate a new challenge, but I do miss radio.
Well, we miss you too. And Lynn, of course, worked for us for a while, worked for the competition for a while. but was always a delight to work with, as she is now. So let's end with a reminder about the Jeep Freedom Ride, the when, where's, how much, and how do they register?
Okay, so it's $30 per Jeep. That includes the driver, $10 per passenger. And you can register if you go to Bay County, Michigan Jeeps on Facebook. It's all spelled out. The registration form's there. There's also a link off of our Thelen website. If you go there, you can find it and register there. You can also register morning of. Show up at 9 a.m. at Tri-City Brewing in Bay City. And, pay your entry fee, and you're off and running. So it's pretty simple as far as that goes. Photo scavenger hunt. We're raising money for the Bay Area Veterans Foundation for their Veterans Workshop that's getting put together right on Madison.
Right.
Depot. It's a terrific space.
Yep.
I don't know if you've done the tour yet, Art, but, I mean, it's really coming
I've
along.
talked to them, but I haven't done the tour yet. I'm going to have to do that. All right, kids. So if you got a Jeep, plan to spend the day having a good time in Bay City and Bay County and wherever else you take photos. And Lynn, it's great to talk to you, and I'm sure we will do it again.
Okay. All right, Art, you take care.
Have a great day. Thanks a lot.
All right. God bless.
You too.
Bye.
Bye-bye now. Lynn Roberts from Thelen. She works at the Thelen Chrysler Dodge Jeep franchise, but representing all of them for the Jeep Freedom Ride. Take our last break, come back, find out what's happening in the markets from Baird & Company when we return on the Focus program.
The Pinconning Sesquicentennial is underway. Town & Country Supermarket is presenting the Chalk Walk Art Festival in downtown Pinconning on Saturday, May 21st, with artists creating masterpieces on the Kaiser Street pavement from